Okay, everyone, welcome to Module 2. And in Module 2, we'll be talking about the laws of UX, and it's based on the UI design principles. And we'll be looking into them today. So, now let's go into the laws, and we have seven laws of UX, and these are the laws that will help us to effectively create better UIs when designing. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is the Hicks Law. And the Hicks Law states that uh, too many choices slow down decisions. And you can see on your left, you have the question, how old are you? And you can see 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Now, these are information that are very valid and they're very important to someone. So, for you to actually express this kind of questions in design base, you have to make sure that you have a wide range of choices. Okay, so basically, when you have the wide range of choices, you know that the person is based that okay, I'm actually in this field instead of me to be picking the one choices. So basically, it also helps when you know that the age range, or I would say um, it also applies for maybe you are answering a survey, and then they say, what type of food do you want? You can actually just cover up and say, okay, there's carbohydrate, there's protein, there is fat and oil, there is vitamins, and the rest of it. Now you see that those are classes of food, and then you can actually know what you're picking from inside. So instead of you to list all the type of food, you can just say, okay, I'm actually good in proteins, and you know the things that are inside proteins. So those kind of things are what Hicks Law is stating. Make sure that whenever you are doing something, you should narrow your choices in a way that you have a range of choices that people can actually align to, not for you to be listing them one by one. It can actually be like, because people want to actually go to the next step, not to just be on one place for a long time. Okay, so that's what I mean by Hicks Law. You can see on the right side, you have the range 17 to 20, 21 to 24. Those kind of things are very, very good when designing your UI. Now, for the second law, we have Fitts law. And Fitts law says small targets are harder to click. Yeah, your target must be something that somebody can actually visualize. Do not make it so small that, clicking it with your thumb will be an issue. So make sure that it is wide, okay? So that it's a good, valid choice. So you can see on your left, the person filling the details, you have username and password. And the login is just one tiny thing at the center. It doesn't work out. You should make sure that it is wide enough to cover the screen, and then you click on, which is easy for anyone to click. So make sure that your alignment, this also deals with alignment too, and a hierarchy. You can see that everything is aligned on the left, and then you have the login which are on the center, but the length of the button should be the same. Okay, it's good for visual hierarchy. Okay, so take note of that. And then we have the Miller's Law. Miller's Law says users get overwhelmed when there is too much information at once. I mean, at once at that place. So, too much information at once, which means this is almost the same thing as the first one, if you can notice the difference. Now, this one has change name, change profile, change password, change email. Like, how would I start from? It's better to group them. So, someone will actually know that, okay, this is the group. This one I'm editing first, this one I'm editing next. Okay, group is very important when it comes to UI. So you can see that on the right side, everything is fixed. We have personal details, and inside the personal details, we have the name, profile, and password. And that password could be under password and security. Then the email could be under personal details. So we have personal details, which is the email, profile, and name. Then for password and security, we have change password. Then for payments and cards, it might be the person's details concerning the cards. And then we have app settings. You see, the first one is under account settings. The other one is under app settings, which is choose theme, dark mode. You see, that is the method when you're actually working on this kind of things. Okay, good. So go for the next one now. Next one is called Jacob's Law. users struggle, like they struggle with unfamiliar designs. And on websites, we have different ways of on websites and apps too. We have different ways of actually expressing ourselves, and this is why your research is important. Make sure you know what they use, like every time when you're working. You know that on a website you don't only have the buy now button, you have the add to cart and the add to wish list. So you should make sure that those buttons are actually relevant and they are actually on that display. They are showing the user what they want. And in some cases, you can actually do it in a way that this size can be changeable, which means you can put size 46, 44, like that. So there are things, those are things that you should make sure that you take note of. People are actually, their eyes are actually visual. So when they see something, just buy now. We don't want to buy now. Maybe the person wants to see other things on the list. So adding to cart is one of the options, and we have a wish list, one of the options too. So next one is Tesla's law. On Tesla's law, make it less complex for users to understand. Make it less complex, not to, because right now you say phone number and then next thing you put name. That doesn't work out. How does phone number and name, online? It doesn't make sense. So whenever you're doing, make it easy. You understand? Phone number, e.g., 1234578 9. You see, and then you have the drop down for the number you want to put. Either it's +234 +91 +1 +4, any of them. But make sure you have like someone can actually easily understand it, that if I click here, it will take me to the country code, and then I put my phone number. That is the Tesla's law. Okay, so we go for the rule number 6, and it's called the pick end rule. Now, pick end rule states that attract users' attention during or at the end of activities for them to get the final moment of an experience. You see, now there is something about the action of call to action or icons and details. When someone actually feels, I'm going to use the example from what we have here. When somebody feels maybe a form or maybe a questionnaire, at the end of it, it's very good to actually give that person the feel that the person is actually experiencing something throughout the questionnaire. Like, I don't know who uses Duolingo app. You know how they do those things, like those functions. You know how they do them. Like, you're almost there. You're getting there. You're doing well. Those kind of things are very attractive in UI. So it applies to during the process of answering the questions, and also at the end of it. So it will make users want to they want to actually do more. They want to actually share the experience. They want to actually see what they've done so far. That's why you can see on the left we have congratulations for completing this activity, 8/10. You just press OK. No, but on the right you have something. You have the confetti, confetti icon, and you have congratulations, activity completed, view results. Now when you click on that view result, it will take the person to maybe the 8/10, and then it will give the person the full details, like this is what you did wrong, this is what you did right. Those things are important. Details are important when it comes to UI. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Now for the 7th one, we have laws of proximity. Laws of proximity states that unrelated things can seem connected if placed too close. Always consider spacing. Now imagine, now on the left we have list of items, and you see the items, they are just congested together. That doesn't work well, right? It doesn't work well. Like, there is no spacing. Now this law of proximity talks about spacing in a way that whenever you're listing something, you're designing something, make sure you have spacing. You have the accurate spacing. You can use 20 pixel, you can use 12 pixel, you can use 14 or 10, but make sure that there is space in between the list of things, or in between your different containers and your different frames. It's very important when doing design. Okay, like you can see on the right, you have the apple, you have the broccoli, you have the carrot. Now on the left you have the things you just done, like So it's not orderly. But on the right, you have things orderly done. You even have them on alphabetical order: A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, that is very important when doing UI UX. You know, the person will actually flow through. Thank you. Take notes, okay? Take notes. Always know that spacing and hierarchy and alphabetical order are very important. Okay, now let's go into the main gist of today. Now, these are the most these are important how would I say UI UX uh, they are laws of UI UX. Now we have the size, we have the color, we have the space, we have the typography, and then we have the contrast, and then we have the imagery. These are important when it comes to UI UX, even in design too. Now, these laws of design, you know that the size is important. Size attracts people. Like, that is an attraction. Now, when it comes to the big test, you know that that is the main point. When it comes to the smaller test, you know that that is the exact of what the big text is about. And then we have the colors. The brand colors are important too. When choosing colors, you should make sure that you are using the brand colors, and you should make sure that you have the substitute for the brand colors. Okay, it's very important. You create shades, like maybe if the color of the brand is green, you can make a lighter green, and you know how to mix in, because as you can see, the color of the brand here is about so it's like green, kind of like dark green or blue, navy blue. You can see the buttons actually adapting that. You can see that. Yeah, so that's important. Make sure that your color flow is very accurate, and you can see the color, you can see the spacing. Make sure that you have accurate space. Don't make everything congested, like we said. You remember, right? Yeah, that's what we said. And then we have your contrast. Your contrast, you know that okay, the left is going to be for the text, the right is going to be for the image. Those things, make sure that you have spacing in between them. You know your contrast, you know your you know where the image is going to be, you know where how you're going to place it, and you make sure that the image is actually describing what you have on your text. Okay, now we want to look at another example of we're talking about we're going to talk about the web and a phone interface, and this will be one of the practicals that we'll be doing during um, our time together here. Okay, so now you can see on the left we'll have a login screen or a sign up screen, and you can see the difference we have on the dash the desktop version and the mobile version. You can see that the desktop version has more um, details than the one on the mobile version. And why is that? Because we have a wider screen, and we don't want to actually congest everything on the mobile version. We just have to do it on a minimalistic way. Now you can notice that the information are the same, but what we have on the left is a more expanded view. We can see the logo, but we have the logo and the logo word, which is the name of the brand, Untitled UI. You can see that on the phone we have only just the logo icon. You can see on the desktop version we have your details, choose the password, invite your team, and add your socials. Now on the mobile version we just have the tracker, which is underneath it. You can see those are the things that you actually need to understand. The one for desktop, to make it presentable on a mobile version, you should make sure that some things, the important things, are taken from the web version and be put into the mobile version. That's what you should know. Important things: number one, you have the buttons, you have the place to actually type the password, you have the continue button, and you have the instruction, and you have the text, the main text, which is choose the password. Those are the things that were important from the web version. Now notice, like I said, the things that you should take whenever you are doing a web and a mobile version is take the important things out. Important things are the most important things. Those are the things that you should actually remove, and make sure that you spread them out between the two of the two fields, which is your web and your mobile view. Okay, okay, okay. So we'll go for the next one. Now I want you to look at these two images and tell me what you see. You can see the before and the after, right? Now this is what we call the visual hierarchy, in a way that in the left side I can see the people, right? But they are not clear. They are not the ones that, this is what you should take note of when you're using maybe a text color, and color, make sure that you are using a color to the right way. Now I'm talking about color in design. You can see down the left side, the people are not important. You see, the people who are important, the thing which is important is the background, which is not supposed to be. You see? So basically, they are not important. On the right side, you can see that they are important. They're the people with the dark shade of green. You can see them clearly. That is one thing that you should know, the rule of UI UX. Make sure that the things that you're stating are very clear. Very clear. Very clear. Don't put them. The only time that you could make them look faded is maybe when they are inside a placeholder, like what we had for the row number. Okay, yeah, we have the row number 2. You see the username and the password. You can see that they are faded a bit. That's understandable. When it comes to showcasing a work or maybe something important, make sure that they are presentable. Make sure you can see them. Make sure you can see the product, because you are selling the product. Okay, you don't want to make the product invisible. So please make sure that the product is more vibrant than the background, like we have here for the shoe, the sandal, sorry. So you can see that the sandal is visible. We can see it. It's not like we're using a brown shoe than a brown background. No, make sure that it is visible, that people will see it and want to buy it. Okay, so the last thing I want to say for this part is that when you think the user, you think the UX, and when you think interface, you think the user. Remember that. Think user, think user experience. Think interface, think user, and everything goes on like that. Okay, so thank you very much for sticking to the end, and over to the next phase.